What's going on, guys? Matt back again, this time for a TV review. I'm going to be reviewing Stranger Things 3, Episode 1. Susie, Do You Copy? I think is the name of it. This was written and directed by the Duffer Brothers, who created the show. So let's go ahead and jump right into the plot. This episode starts by showing Russians in Russia trying to duplicate the technology that was used to open a portal to the Upside Down. Right off the bat, I think this is a bad decision because you go ahead and you show us what the threat of the season is. So we're not surprised whenever the rest of the episodes follow of the reveals that aren't really reveals, because you reveal everything at the very beginning, taking away any mystery. And that's not the only time that happens in this episode. As I go through this, you'll hear at least one more time where they kind of spoil what could have been a good mystery. Next thing I have about the plot is the dynamic between Mike, Hopper, excuse me, the dynamic between Mike, Hopper, and Elle is funny, and Hopper is especially stressed out. I really appreciated Hopper in this episode. He's in a really weird position where it's just him and two younger children, basically. I think they're still in middle school. I'm not sure how old they are, but you know they're kissing in the other room. He has this 3-inch rule about the door, and I really like the way that the actor plays Hopper with all the stress that he's going through with everything Elle and Mike are giving him. Next, the power goes out, and we're not really surprised why, considering what we were shown at the very beginning. We know that it has to do something with the Russians, so there's really no mystery there as to why that's happening. And then the show it shows us the Mind Flayer, which is that big creature in the what was it? The Steelworks factory. It shows it like coming together. I don't know why. I mean, this is still the first episode. All you need to focus on are the characters, and then allow the mystery to kind of seep throughout the rest of the episodes. Another problem I have was, do the kids really think Dustin would go through all the trouble of building a huge radio to fake a girlfriend? He builds this huge satellite radio. It might be taller than I am, and he goes through the effort of not only building it but hauling it out to this hill out in the middle of nowhere and setting it up, and then spending all day trying to call his girlfriend. They really think he's lying the whole time, that he went through all that trouble to lie about a girlfriend? I mean, does the audience at home watching the show really think he's lying? No. I have here, I like the new girl at the ice cream shop. Fun fact I heard, I think it was Collider, they said that she's the daughter of Uma Thurman. And I can't remember who the father was. He's another actor. But that's Uma Thurman's daughter, which is a nice little tidbit to know. She was really good, not only in the whole season, but in this episode as well. I thought she might have been annoying at first because she was real kind of negative, but it doesn't take long for her to come around. Another problem with the spoilers in the first episode I have here, they shouldn't show all the rats at the steelworks exploding because it tells you what's going on rather than maintaining the mystery. So you have this rat infestation that I believe is introduced, it might be the next episode, with what's her name? There's so many characters in this show. I have it right here. Nancy Wheeler. Her and her boyfriend are working for a paper, and she gets a tip about rats. It might be the next episode. I can't remember, but I know you see rats scurrying around Dustin's feet when he's up at the hill, or it might have been Will's feet, actually. I think it is Will's feet, because he's starting to feel the Mind Flayer coming back. I think it happens twice in this episode, and then you see rats scurrying. But you go ahead and tell us that the rats are blowing up at this steelworks, and they're using the skin to form this monster. It's like, why are you showing us this in the first episode? I want to see the rats scurrying around, and I want to hear about these rats, and I want to wonder to myself, what the hell is going on? But you and go ahead and show me exactly what these rats are doing in the very first episode. I'm not sure why. Another thing, this is probably what bothered me most. Yeah, this bothered me most about this season, and this was something that was hinted at in the second season, which I didn't like it when it was introduced then either. I think it was introduced in the next two or very last episode of season 2, which is that Karen is really into Billy. You know, I get it. I mean, older women can like younger guys, but in this episode, she goes as far as agreeing to hook up with him at a hotel, even though she's married. She has more than one child. I think Karen Wheeler is Mike Wheeler's dad, mom. Mike Wheeler is one of the main characters now, who's basically the main character in the first season. But they introduced the storyline of her wanting to cheat on her husband. And she goes as far as getting dressed up and heading downstairs and is about to walk out the door to go cheat on her husband when she sees her husband asleep in a chair with their daughter in his arms, and she changes her mind. Wow. Like, it took having to see her husband and her child to decide not to cheat on her husband. It makes me not like that character, even though I liked her up until her moment with Billy in season 2. I always liked her as like you're just your average mom in the 80s. But not only do I not like this, thankfully she doesn't go through with it. But then the whole storyline, her liking Billy and all that, it's introduced in season 2 just to be dropped at the very beginning of season 3. I really didn't understand. I guess it was just so they could give that actress who plays Karen something to do other than be a mom, have something to struggle with. But wow, that makes the character look pretty weak when that's what she's struggling with. But yeah, I just didn't like that all the way around. The last thing I have here in the plot, Mike annoyed me, and this isn't really a problem. I mean, this is kind of designed, but Mike annoyed me with the way he was talking to Hopper at the cabin. Hopper was trying to be reasonable with Mike and Elle, and it didn't seem in character for him to start whispering to Elle right in front of Hopper, like just to piss him off. I don't know, this is like the only time I didn't like Mike. Because the first 2 seasons I liked Mike, and I liked Mike this season. It's just this moment I really bothered me. I didn't like that. Other than that, that's everything. That's all the problems I have with the plot. Everything else is fine. I didn't have any problems with the writing. I want to touch on the cinematography. I don't have any problems with the cinematography. I really liked it. What I have here is I like how much more colorful it is than the 2 previous seasons. The 2 previous seasons are very dark and ominous. They're supposed to be. It's the tone of that show. And I think the first 2 seasons came out and were based around Halloween in October, and this season is based on July 4th, and they also made it where it comes out on July 4th. So it makes sense that they would want to go with brighter tones and more of like a Sandlot feel of them just hanging out over the summer, because the previous seasons we had to hang out with them while they were at school and while they're at home. But this time we get to just kind of spend time with them throughout the summer. But where it really stood out for me and where I really liked it is in that scene where they're going up the hill to set up his what's his name? Nathan? No, Dustin. Dustin's radio. And it was so green. The colors just really pop in this whole episode, but especially that scene where they're out in the sunshine on that green hill, and Elle and Mike leave them because they said they have a curfew or whatever. But that really stood out to me. And I have here that it does sacrifice the dark, creepy atmosphere that they did have for the 2 previous seasons. But I'm a person that believes that with sequels, you need to do something different. You got to keep it fresh. You got to keep moving forward. And I would be kind of a hypocrite if I criticized this show for doing something new and different. And I'm not going to do that. It does kind of sacrifice any creepiness or anything, because this whole season is very brightly colored. But I do appreciate that they're switching it up. The acting, good across the board. I didn't have any problems with the acting. All of these actors are really, really fine actors. And the pace, I didn't have any problem with the pace either. This whole episode is really just a reintroduction to everyone and really where they are 6 months later. That's all this episode is, other than the spoiling you with what the story is. I really wish this episode would have been just the characters with a little hint of the rats and all that stuff, rather than showing us the monster, showing us the Russians. I really would have just rather have stayed with the characters and seen things from their point of view. Everything's always scarier when the audience has the point of view of the characters rather than being able to see everything, going to Russia, then skipping a year later, and I don't know. It just works better when it's just the point of view of the characters. But that's my review of the first episode of Stranger Things 3. If I miss anything, or if you disagree, or if you agree, please let me know in the comments below. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button, and please hit the notification bell for more videos in the future. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.